Okay, so we're recording. So hello everyone who's watching and listening. So today I have with me Jiska Johanna, who is a fellow SFM member. So welcome, Jiska.
Thanks very much.
That's all right. It's good to meet you. It's the first time we've chatted, isn't it? So I guess we'll just get straight into this then, Jiska. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey so far in life, and how you get to be started as an online entrepreneur?
My journey so far in life, Rob, that's quite a long story, but well, I'll give you a summary. Obviously, I am Jiska. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm 29 currently, and Jesus, don't know where to start. Well, let's start by saying that I've always wanted to be, well, I guess the best version of myself, and that has led me to do interesting things, crazy things, completely new things, difficult things, all sorts of things. And I don't know, it just makes me feel alive very much, and I guess I can say I'm proud for being able to follow curiosity, and I want to do things, and I do them very often because I'm afraid I will regret not doing them. Mm-hmm. And that has brought me quite far. So to be a little bit more concrete, I really wanted to go to university, had great difficulty getting there. Wasn't getting the support from teachers or other influencers as such, but fought my way there. And I guess, yeah, this is important to mention because in the end I failed high school, and that was primarily because I failed English. And I was devastated. For a week I wouldn't come out of the house. I was living in a small village. Everybody knew I had failed. Friends and family, the whole village. My name wasn't mentioned in the local newspaper. It went really far. But I think that moment sparked this is not how it's supposed to end kind of feeling. And I went to a different school, got my certificates in the end, except for English. So there's no way on paper I can prove my English is good enough. Because that English teacher wasn't the best, so I swapped for philosophy at the time. But I did those certificates, and I did on top work 2 side jobs, and I went to Cambridge to get my certificate for English. The Cambridge certificate, and I came back and I had all my certificates, so I was good to go to university. And my first ever exam in university was English grammar, and I remember getting a 7.2 out of 10, and that's when I thought, okay, I do belong here. Mm-hmm. I have overcome this, and today still sometimes I just borrow strength from that moment whenever I'm doing something that I'm not sure I can pull off. Mm-hmm. So it's been an important moment in my life, and it also gave me confidence, which I desperately needed. And from there, I've just challenged myself, and nothing was too crazy or too difficult for a very long time. So I did amazing things because of that moment. So actually, it was the most devastating moment in my life, but it's also been the most rewarding moment in hindsight. So after that, I obviously finished university. I got a job offered in Liverpool, the UK. So I had a career for 2 years in Liverpool, ironically. And that was a charity. So to come a bit closer to your second part of the question as to how I ended up with the SFM is I was working with a charity in Liverpool. But I also had a huge student loan, and I felt I couldn't do the things, and I couldn't be myself, being that adventurous girl because of finances I didn't have. So I felt I had to make more money. And I was looking for something I could do on the side. So I bought a course off of Tai Lopez. I don't know if you've heard of Tai Lopez. Yeah. So Tai Lopez is huge in social media marketing, and he's offering a course. So at some point, and that was January 2017, I bought a course off of him. I paid $1,000, which was an insane amount, I thought at the time. But I did it, and I'm thankful for it, even though I felt that wasn't for me, because Tai is really big in cars and houses and being the American dream, which he is. He actually is. But I felt that the American dream wasn't what I was looking for. It wouldn't enrich my life personally, even though the content was nice, but I just didn't resonate at some point with his personality and his goals that much anymore. So I, the hard worker, after work came home, did the course, but I felt I was getting less and less motivated and disciplined. So that's when I knew something was off, and I didn't really know why I was less motivated. But at some point, I just felt it was too far of my. Yeah, there was such a big gap between his goals and my ideal future and ideal day. Also, he was teaching me how to start my social media marketing agency, and he is teaching people how to start with local clients, whereas I wanted to be geographically free. That was one of my things. I wanted to be able to travel again. So at some point I thought, this isn't really what I'm looking for. And as soon as I defined that it was too American, too local, and a couple of more things, I found Stuart on YouTube, and he was obviously talking in his British accent, and I was living in the UK. So then I thought, that's closer by. And he explained about the community that I was looking for, that I was missing out on with a Tai Lopez course. And he was talking about things that you could create online, and you could duplicate those campaigns and those efforts and that part of your business without you having to work double the amount of hours. So yeah, that was I thought at the time was going to give me the geographical freedom, and that's how I stuck with the SFM. So I signed up last year in May, and last year September I went to my first event in Phoenix, Arizona. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've just been to my first event actually, which was the Platinum Incubator last week. It was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, actually, a couple of things I can relate to there, Jiska, is the first one is about, when you kind of coming through school and not doing as well as you would have hoped. I did exactly the same thing, really. I did pass everything, but I only just scraped by. And I really enjoyed school and found it fairly, I wouldn't say easy, but I didn't find it difficult. But yeah, I didn't get the grades that I wanted when I came out, and I struggled, and that was a real kick up the backside for me as well, a big moment in my life. And I can very much relate to you now that I go all in with things, and I'm always trying to learn more about things, etc. I guess the other thing as well, I actually wrote it down, but I think you kind of answered it, was regarding Tai Lopez. So I've seen his adverts as well, and it's never resonated with me. It's all about the money. That's what it seems to be for me. But you kind of touched on it. Was there really any community aspect to any of his courses or the things that he set up, or is it basically just, here's the information, get on with it, and you do it yourself, which is completely different to SFM, of course, where you're given all of this information, but you have this huge community which helps and supports each other, and that's where a lot of the education comes from, right?
Yeah. So good question. He has a Facebook community. So there is access to people doing the same thing. I've seen people help each other out and put up questions in there, and they get answered. So, but no, there isn't a community that is supportive on a level where there's peer-to-peer support, where there is offline events, where there is so much respect, where there is a community that is not judgmental. It's also not encouraged for people to find their own type of online business, therefore their own voice and their own passions, which indeed is completely different with the SFM. Because in the SFM community, I don't think I would still be with the SFM if it wasn't for the community. Because I left Tai Lopez, I might as well have left the SFM if it was just a Facebook community. And the difference is that there is accountability, whether you like it or not. Yes. There is the 90-day video journey. It's so hands-on, it's so practical, and you're so invited and encouraged to take part. And it's such an important part of your growth and building your business. If it wasn't for the community, I don't think the SFM was as good as it is. Like, we can pat ourselves on the shoulder for creating all of this, because it is much more of a community than education, I think. But those two things collide very well.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, for me, I would not be able to do this on my own. There's absolutely no way. I mean, the amount of training that we get and the training that is there for you to do is immense. It's incredible, but you can't do it on your own. You need help. You need people who've had the same kind of roadblocks and mind shifts and whatever as you, to keep going. That's for sure.
I sometimes say that, like, I was looking for a mentor, and now I have 5,000 mentors. And that may sound very cheesy or too good to be true, but like you said, this is our first conversation. But if I put up a question in the Facebook group, you might answer, and then we might have helped each other out on a very important topic in our business. And it's you have this instant, because I feel the community is so special because we connect on the basis of similar norms and values. And like, there's no age, there's no gender, there's no backgrounds, there's no age. That's why I feel I can be so open as to where I come from, because one, it's not relevant, I won't be judged, and two, it's just important for me to be able who I am and accept all the parts that I am and have made me who I am, for other people to understand me better, therefore help me better.
Yes.
And I, like, it's almost as if people are just waiting to help people, because sometimes I see posts, well, actually every week I see posts in the community, 50 people respond with their love, their energy, their support, their knowledge. I see videos, links posted that are of help, that are relevant to the topic. It's crazy. Like, if you would if you would accept all the support, and if you would go to all the webinars that everybody is putting up in the community, you won't have a business for the next 10 years, because it will take up all of your time.
Yeah, so you have to pick and choose. Yeah,
you need to be selective almost, and it's the complete opposite of what I've experienced with Tai Lopez and other.
But I think it is amazing, isn't it? And I think, some people have certain knowledge in certain areas. So yeah, sometimes people post or on webinars and they're asking questions, and I wouldn't be able to answer that yet. Sometimes someone might ask a question, and I might have been doing the same thing yesterday, and I can help them with that. So that's just a beautiful thing.
But what I love about the community is that you are expected to then share and not just turn away and go watch TV. Like, because it's twofold. You're helping someone else, but you're also helping yourself, because we do understand that we need to, the one-on-one coaching is so important, and you might as well practice within our community, because that's what you're going to do in your business as well. And the SFM does everything for us to start becoming that expert and that authority right from the get-go. And that is unique, because it's not for them about the money. They want us to succeed. Well, because they are a business, they will have to charge for what they know, and that is more than normal. But then for us to be on stage, and they know that we will get footage from that we can then use on our website and in our business. That is something they don't have to do. It's something they don't have to provide. But every opportunity that there is, they give people to put themselves out there, and that is incredibly generous. That's not what you pay for. The education is something else. The opportunities are given on top of everything. Yeah.
And I mean, I really like what you say there about, you know, that we're starting to give back and to you know, to become leaders ourselves. And it's something that I'll come back to, because I know that you're starting to lead in a certain little niche of your own within SFM. We'll come back to that. But just wanted to ask you, when you first started with SFM, your kind of initial experiences, and did you have any goals? What were your expectations at the beginning?
I was well aware that I was re-educating myself. I had no knowledge of social media marketing. Well, I had started the Ty Lopez thing, but it was about all the channels, and it's just too much. I had no idea that online there was such a world of businesses that depend and work with all the social media channels. So I've been absorbing everything that I could learn from the beginning, and the goal, I guess, was to see if I could do it. I was just very curious as to how this all works, and I did make some money at some point, and that was just the most incredible thing. To learn a skill and to make money out of it, to help people along the way, to inspire and get inspired by so many with the same norms and values. So the goal, when I signed up, I just wanted to make extra income, because again, I was working with a charity and I still have a student loan, so I needed to take action. It changed drastically very quickly when I realized that I am my business, and that I need to do some soul searching for me to be that person that I am basically selling. So you want to be proud of the products that you're selling. You're the product in this case. So the goal was to learn as much about myself as I could, so I knew how I could be of service to other people. And that indeed has changed into, I've been focused on this in the last year, and it's something beautiful is coming out. I can already see what's coming out of this, and I believe you want to ask me about that, but it's been a journey of personal development as well as professional development, and those two things cannot go separately. And I very often tell people there is no competition, because people buy people first and products and services second. So you need to make sure your clients know you, like you, trust you, and then you can sell anything. So becoming the authority is definitely step number one.
Yeah, it is incredible, isn't it? That was a big thing that stood out for me when I first started. Was obviously, again, for me, I wanted to learn new skills in terms of in the online space, but then really started to understand that this was a place of self-development as well. And I'd been doing a good year of that before I started at SFM, and I just knew that I was in the right place with that. And to think that, yeah, you yourself can be a product. You are selling yourself, but to do that, you need to know yourself inside out. You can only do that through development. And it's a little bit better than just reading self-development books, isn't it? It really is amazing. So just before we talk about what you're actually doing within SFM yourself and how you're developing, have you had to overcome any sort of limiting beliefs, or are you still doing that? Are there still things that you need to overcome? What sort of self-development have you been going under over this past year or so?
I think the biggest one, there's a couple, but I think the biggest one is I came into the SFM thinking I can do this. My level of English is now good enough. That still was a bit of a hurt. Like, I've always seen myself as the one that couldn't speak English, and I had lived 2 years in the UK by then. But still, you feel that. I mean, I'm not a native, so it feels as if you have to work harder than a native English speakers in the community. So the hurdle that I had to overcome was to, instead of seeing myself as someone who speaks really good English despite being a non-native English speaker, I was able to turn that, or at some point I just saw that the fact that I am not a native English speaker is my USP, and it is part of my journey. It is the thing that is going to inspire other non-natives to also take the leap of faith. And it's my strength, and it is something beautiful. I am proud of it. I use it in my business every day. It is what makes me stand out from, for example, you, Rob, and amongst other characteristics, but this is definitely one of them. Like, I am not a 29-year-old girl from the Netherlands building an online business. I am a 29-year-old girl from the Netherlands building an online business in English despite not being a native English speaker. And that should be in there. It should be in there explicitly. Because it is part of, like, what you asked me, what has your journey been like? This is where it started 10 years ago when I failed English. That's when this all started, and that's how I'm now 10 years later and doing what I'm doing within the SFM. I wouldn't be doing what I am doing within the SFM hadn't I not had this journey of 10 years when I was 19. And so I overcame a weakness, and I turned it into a strength and into something that I will forever from now on always mention when people ask questions, like you just did.
Absolutely, and you know, for me, I put very much of my story into it as well, then, because I'm very open about my past struggles with drug and alcohol addiction and depression and anxiety and things like that. That's part of my story, and so many people relate to that as well, because so many people have had these issues too. It's something that I have to talk about because it's me, right?
Exactly.
But so coming back to this then. This big passion of yours and something that's so much of your makeup. You are now running a weekly, is it a weekly or bi-weekly webinar within SFM, which is all about, well, it's all for serving people who are non-native speakers, English speakers, isn't it? So can you tell us a little bit about how that came about and how that's going?
Yes, I'm happy to. Yes, so this really started last February in London at the event, the SFM event, and I think it was also the question, like, what have you overcome, or what is your, I don't know what the question was, but I made a video and I won with that video. I won a one-on-one with with Jay. One of the SFM founders. And it's when I started the weekly webinars with the people from our community who are not a native English speaker. And recently I've rebranded the whole thing into the webinar for ESL entrepreneurs, and ESL stands for English as a Second Language. Which is a term I had never heard of. I'm very happy with that term though, because being a non-native English speaker sounds a bit like the Paralympics, and it's not what it is actually. You're speaking 2 languages, which is something which is amazing. So the weekly webinars for the ESL entrepreneurs of our community are about well, the English language, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, but also about mindset things and perceived disadvantages.
Yeah.
Because, like I said before, it feels like if you have to work harder, and you might have to work harder, but you don't know where the native English speakers have to work harder than you. Mm-hmm. There might be a different area where you find out that you have a talent for it, and others will have to work harder on that part of their business. So it's just all part of it. It's just all part of your growth, and a part of the things that you're creating. So people who enter the SFM, or in general, people who start an online business, they are likely to have found a video or an invitation or an advert in English, meaning that the English level is present. It's just sometimes you feel that you won't be able to work it because you are ashamed, or you feel you don't have the right words, or you are nervous about not being able to express yourself well enough or clear enough or whatever. And when you just be attentive to it, you might find that it's not as big of a problem as you might think it is. And it's a mindset, and it's a little bit of hard work, but it's definitely acceptance as well. And it's not an overcomable problem. There is so much out there that you can do. You just need a little bit of guidance, and that guidance is what I'm hoping to give people in the weekly webinars. And it's proven to be effective, and it's fun to be together. It's nice to see people grow and become more talkative and more confident. And that's where the passion came from. And I see it's just when I failed my English, it was kind of the end of the world. I had to travel. I had to have 2 side jobs, get the money together, travel to a different country for the first time in my life by myself. I was 19. Take the Cambridge certificate. It's quite a lot of money as well, to be honest. And then I went to South Africa for my bachelor's, which is an English-speaking country. I did university in English. All of that I had to do. I had to work really hard, but with the technology that we have at hand today, you can do a webinar and bring all of that knowledge to people that you know are going through the same thing. So it's so powerful to get together, to use a Zoom room like this, or Skype or Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and to, share experiences and to understand what we struggle with. And we actually found, all of us, that being a non-native English speaker, being an ESL entrepreneur, is beneficial and has advantages over being a native English speaker. Because, Rob, I don't know how many languages you speak, but
only one.
There we go. And
yep.
Cultures are do you say stooled on 3 things, or they're based on 3 things? It's religion, it's language, and it's food. And language is such a big part of a culture. So to understand people from a different culture, to know where they come from, to know how they see the world, it's so much intertwined with language, and understanding that people who are brought up in a different language, in a different culture, is valuable to your business. Yes. When you're having an international business. So I'm super proud, and I'm learning from this, and every week, because I have to prepare those webinars, and I speak with everyone. And now I live in Barcelona, actually, so I am surrounded by people from Spain. And
how's your Spanish?
Sorry?
How's your Spanish?
Well, I was still answering the question, Rob.
Sorry.
Don't interrupt me.
Carry on.
I've been getting Spanish courses, but in my job I speak English. The webinars are in English, and I love learning English and working with the language. And in Barcelona, where I live, people speak English perfectly fine. So there's no urgency for me to speak Spanish. next year, spring, I will definitely pick up the language courses, because I have to be selective with my time. And but yeah, so it's there at the beginning, is there, which I'm very proud of. But yeah, to be speaking multiple languages gives a much better understanding as to how your clients think and work, and what they want to learn and how they learn, and what their world looks like. So I'm very proud to be a bilingual. Yeah, that I speak multiple languages.
Yeah, that's great. I just think it's great that you've created that community within SFM for people to do that. I think it's really interesting what you say, that you're finding that there are some advantages to that as well.
And what's funny is that the mindset problems, or the perceived problems that ESL entrepreneurs have, they are the same native English speakers. Like, native English speakers too are nervous when they have to the camera, or about their accents, or about not being able to find the right words, or not being able to connect with their audience. Those are things that are universal. And Caroline and Tonya from our community also said, enthusiasm is universal language, meaning that the energy that you bring to the table, and the way you sit in front of the camera, and the content that you bring, your message, it shouldn't be difficult, and you don't have to throw fancy words into the camera. That's not gonna do any good to your business, and it's not gonna define your results and your successes. It's your message, your energy, and your willingness and your ability to help people.
Yeah, and that authenticity as well, being true to who you are. Absolutely.
Yes, that will make people think that you're genuine, and not just a salesperson. Like, nowadays with social media, people wanna know the realness and the why of a product or a service. There are so many possibilities to review a product or a service, or to ask around. There's also so much competition. You need to make sure you as a person don't have competition because of who you are and the way you connect with people.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, people who are ESL entrepreneurs have done very, very well, haven't they? Especially within SFM, you think about Christian Veer and people like that, who's been a top affiliate for many years. So I mean, he's
from Sweden.
Yes, and yeah, I mean, he could barely speak English, I think, when he started, several years ago. Like I say, now he's one of the top affiliates within the company, isn't he? So.
And also, there's no harm in learning English. It's such a big part of everything I do. My friends from the UK, all the inspirational stuff that I've been able to read and to listen to online and in books in English, it's just enriched my life. If I wouldn't have got up after that week of being devastated because I couldn't speak English, my life would have looked completely different. It would have been 1/5 of what my life looks like right now. So I can recommend to anyone if you feel stuck, start learning English. It will open up opportunities and a world that is gonna bring you something, or help you. Yeah,
I'm sure that's really, really been helpful for a lot of people watching here, who are perhaps thinking, English isn't my first language, and maybe I'll struggle, maybe I can't do that. But there are so many people like
I think it has. Well, I've had one webinar about statistics, and there are more English speakers that are non-native English than there are English speakers that are native English, because the world is bigger than just Great Britain and America. And there is more non-natives in the world, and therefore more non-natives who are learning English right now than actually native speaking English people.
Yeah.
Okay,
so last couple of questions. So you've touched on the fact that another obstacle you have to overcome as well is working alongside developing your business as well. So you've got a lot of experience of that as well. Do you want to maybe comment on some of the challenges that's posed? Having to work and set up an online business. We go with that. There was something else I wanted to ask, but it's gone.
So yeah, well, I think that many people who start an online business do it on the side, and they have had enough of their current situation and they're looking for something more. They want to re-educate themselves, they want to increase their financial situation, they want to be part of something bigger, they want to empower themselves. And in the beginning, and that's the case for every entrepreneur, you need to invest time and money. So many people do this on, I don't know where to start, Rob. It's what is it exactly that you like to know? Just how I went about it, or?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I guess what I'm thinking is there's going to be people watching this who are just thinking, well, this is all, you know, all good and well, but I'm working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You know, how can I possibly get an online business up and running?
Okay.
I know there's lots of people doing it. I myself now, you know, work online full time. And I didn't develop this alongside another job. I finished work, I sold my house, you know, to look after myself and my family, and then started to build an online business. So I haven't had to do this juggling act, but I know that the majority of people do that, and they transition from one into the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it all comes down to focus. Like, if you want to do this, you will find a way. And everybody has 24 hours in a day, whether you're living on the street or you're Elon Musk. So it all comes down to priority and focus. And I hear you mention that you sold your house. Like, that's a possibility. If you're not willing or able to sell your house, you need to get the funds from somewhere else. You need to get either a bit creative or you need to work for it. So those are the facts. I mean, that's the same thing for going to university or buying a car. You will need to come up with the funds to be able to achieve what you want. And I feel that, because yes, I'm still working full-time alongside this, and I'm fine with that, because do you know how many people don't even have a job, are not even able to get, you know, to think about something bigger? So I'm super grateful I have a job that is sustaining my business. And sometimes, yes, I'm annoyed and I'm super tired that I have to work, and that because I only want to spend time on this. But I know that they will come because I have a plan. It did force me to be much more efficient. It did force me to get to whatever is important to me in life. Like, are buying clothes really that important? By the time you're old enough to invest in an online business, my guess is that you've had enough chance to buy enough clothes for the next 3 years. You can easily stop doing that, or, you know, not do that for a while. So I feel being wary of finances and your time is all part of the entrepreneurial journey. There's no way around it. I feel that if you have too much money or too much time, you would not build an online business, because it is about your personal growth and how you're going to elevate yourself, or alleviate. What's the right word?
Elevate. Alleviate. Yeah.
Yourself as a person. And I feel taking responsibility, being independent, all of that is part of it. You won't be able to build a business if you're none of those things. I feel the challenge is where you spend energy on the one thing, and then you will have to have left enough energy for the other thing, which is your online business. Yeah, you have to get over yourself a bit. Like, but there's also things like, how much time do you spend on household or doing groceries? Are you able to get it delivered? Are you able to invest in someone who helps you with the house so that you free up 3 to 6 hours a week that you can spend on your business.
Mm-hmm.
And if that 3 to 6 hours a week is not helping you in your business, something else is wrong. Not the fact that you don't have enough time. Then you need to work on other skills and other things. But yeah, I am a big fan of batching activities.
Mm-hmm.
So you can free up blocks of things, because I found that if you switch between too many things in a too short amount of time, you're going crazy. I did that for a while, but now I've been able to, because I work 2 jobs, 2 jobs besides this. So I had to be very creative and efficient with my time. So I know that at some point I can spend time on my business, and focus is the key. Focus is the key, because if I'm focused in my day job, I perform well. And that means not thinking and not focusing on everything else. My business, things I like to do, I need to invest in, I need to learn. That doesn't exist when I'm working my full-time job. I then have a part-time job, and then all of my focus goes to that. Still not thinking of my business. But when I am focusing on my business, I'm focusing on that. And it's, peace of mind and happiness occur when you're present in the moment. And unhappiness and depression occurs when you're in a moment wishing it was different.
Yes.
So practicing with that helps you with achieving, making progress, and being happy with what you're doing. And acknowledging that all of the things that you're doing outside of your business is part of the plan. Be grateful for that job. Be grateful for that side job, because it allows you to work on whatever skill. Like, it might not be evident in the moment, but everything you do is giving you things. And when you focus on those things, it's all a bliss to be able to be alive and to learn and to do things. So I don't know, it's just a mindset. You can be very annoyed, or you can be very happy and grateful. And gratitude as an attitude always helps. That's something we learn in our community, and that the leaders are, pressing for. So yeah, it's sometimes, I am sometimes tired. And yes, I sometimes watch a movie. I do. And sometimes I'm not touching my laptop for an entire weekend. I need that as well. Yesterday I went with my mom to a spa, and I enjoyed it so much. And today I was all refreshed, and I was looking forward to this interview on top of everything else that we do, Rob. Like, you need to accept that in the beginning you need to learn, and learning is everything. So if that for you means to learn how to juggle different things in the week, then that is part of your journey. Everybody's journey is different. It's no use to be, I'm not jealous of you, Rob, being able to spend full time on this. I'm not, because I know that you sold your house and you have an addiction background. I have had my journey as well, and it's all part of it. It's all part of it. So accept that you have that job. Be incredibly grateful. See if you can get a raise, for example, so you can save up a little bit more. I did that with my charity job. I asked for a raise and I got it. It still wasn't enough, and therefore I switched jobs. Like, you need to go through the things that you need to go through. There's no one else that can do it for you. And having a job is just part of my story and my journey at the moment. So I also made a plan and a timeline as to how long I need to do this, what amount I can save up, when I can, you need to be, being an entrepreneur is wholesome. It's not building your business, it's redesigning your life. And you need to be aware of being an entrepreneur is not, I don't know, well, you have it or you don't have it, you like it or you don't like it, and you want it or you don't want it. So whatever you need to do to become it, you need to do, and you need to just accept that.
Wow, that's really powerful. My sort of closing question was going to be, have you got any advice for someone when they get started? But I think you've just answered it.
I would say just do it and see if it is for you. See if you, how much you can get out of this, and how much it does to you, and how much uncomfortable things you can make comfortable, and how much you can grow from it. And I have not met anyone who regretted starting an online business, because there are so many aspects that you can get from this. It's the friendship, it's the mindset, it's the growth, it's the lessons learned, it's the companionships, it's the type of businesses that people get. Like you can start an e-commerce business with SFM, an affiliate business, a coaching business, and it will bring you something. You just have to accept that you don't know what it's going to bring you. You need to go with the flow and enjoy the ride.
It's a journey of discovery, isn't it? That's
definitely.
Okay, Jiska, thank you so much for today. That's been so interesting. It's been really nice meeting you for the first time, and hopefully we'll be able to meet in person someday.
Yes, I hope very soon. It's been a pleasure.
I'll definitely check out one of your webinars.
Oh, good, nice. I'll see you soon.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.